Oh yeah, one second. Let me see if the stream is working. Oh yeah,
Turn
one
off.
second. Let me see
Okay, great.
if you guys can actually hear me. Um, I'm gonna plug in my phone, so I still have some battery left. I find the cable. There's the cable. Okay. Yep. It's funny that I get a message on my own YouTube channel that I'm online. Um, but I guess it's a nice thing to know, especially if you do not have any kind of information on being online or not, and you just kind of went online for, uh, yeah, by accident. But yeah, we're going to be playing a couple of tanks, just a little bit of late night fun. Nothing too drastic. I'm not even sure if anyone is really going to see this live stream, because it's not very much planned, and I'm just kind of looking forward to playing a little bit of World Tanks. And they're selling this TheFrXion K again in the back, as I can see right there. Um, gonna get my money from the place I work at very soon, so might buy it. But it's just a funny afterthought because I'm not gonna buy the TheFrXion K. I don't really care about it too much. Oh wait, I could actually get myself a new field modification. That's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna get more concealment with the T44-100. Okay, well, I need some more credits because for the review of um, the tier 10 Chinese medium tank, which is the 121. I'll need some more credits, but first and foremost, I'm just going to turn on a little bit of a playlist. So there's something in the background. Oh, perfect map. I'm gonna make a move. Hope I have some support while I'm doing that, because it's going to be a very dangerous kind of cross. I'm expecting one of the light tanks to actually be spotting the middle part of the map. We're probably going to get the spotter as soon as we cross over right here. Yeah, that's all fine. Haven't been spotted yet. And we can actually go all the way nice without getting spotted for quite a long time. But now we're in a good spot. Malinovka in this spot in a T44-100 is probably going to be quite an effective position. Or we could put some pressure on this STA-1. All tanks, he must be the worst one, or he must be like the best tank to fight in this situation, because he really doesn't have any turret armor. He might have a pretty good 90mm gun. Oh boy, I have a problem now. Oh no, this is really bad. Yeah, didn't expect a G-Sword to suicide. Well, he didn't even suicide. He basically ran in, hit me 3 times, and knocked me out. That's how quick a game can end. Too bad he was in a very good position. He came in very quickly. We didn't manage to spot him there. So that's why we got absolutely annihilated. Sadly for us. What do we need for third mark of excellence on the KV5? 80%. Oh, it's gone down. Oh, it's gotten worse. Sorry. How do we disable the HUD again? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Looks pretty nice without any indications. So how do we fight these guys with 196 millimeters of penetration? How do we do that? Are we gonna play the aggressive middle? Or we could have gone the 1-2 line. This rate of fire, the DPM that we have on this vehicle on the 1-2 line, that would be quite nice. Okay, no, we're not going 1-2 line. Let me turn on the live stream on YouTube so I can see if anyone is actually watching right now. Because right now, just started the live stream. Hello, welcome to the live stream, Charney. Sorry if I butcher your name. I'm sorry about that. Welcome to the live stream. Just playing a little bit of World of Tanks. Not a lot of things going on right now. I've had a very long day helping my relative move to a new place, so I was kind of occupied with doing other things. Haven't been able to play a lot of World of Tanks lately, which has been very good for my mental health. No, I'm just kidding. But it has been pleasant. Oh no, he just pops up in that second that I move up. That timing. That timing. Okay, now let's have some fun. Oh no, we're not gonna have a lot of fun. I don't think that the World of Tanks without any HUD, any information, is going to be a very entertaining game for the majority of the player base, I think. But it would be really cool if there was like a mode where you don't have all the informations you kind of have usually, and would make things like a lot more interesting. When you don't have a minimap, for example, what about deactivating the minimap for like 1 or 2 games? Or like in a special kind of game mode, like they're doing currently with the what is it called? The arcade mode? That would be kind of fun. This is a very awkward scenario right now. We should be killing one of these guys. Oh no. He's 29, you gotta have my back. Without spotting mechanic, oh god. So what would that be without spotting mechanic? Would that be like... Oh, now I know what you mean. Yeah, that certainly would be interesting. The question is just, do World of Tanks players like these kind of changes, and I think the answer is probably going to be a resounding no. Because World of Tanks players don't like any change, which is fine, in my opinion. If you don't like change too much, it's completely okay. But that also means that there's not a lot of new content that players will enjoy, which is sadly the reality of World of Tanks, that content is not... New content is always very difficult to implement for the game. But it would be great, you know, just to have some more ideas, some more... Oh no, artillery. Artillery is shooting me in this place? But we've done fine. We've got an AMX 5120, we got a T29. We help with the Carnarvon. There's a T-Type 61 we can't really do anything against, even though he doesn't have any. Still bouncing, that guy. Yeah, artillery. Artillery in World of Tanks, just, it's not a class that I would recommend for any player. But I've seen that a majority of like the most played tank in the last 30 days is basically the... I'm gonna load gold because I'm unable to penetrate the Type 61. Yeah, the most played tank in the last 1 month is the M44. So tells us quite a lot about the strength and power of the tier 6 artillery piece, which is the M44, and not in a good light, unfortunately. Ah, we're still bouncing. Wait, is he really going to push me? Finally. This guy just couldn't wait any longer. Has pushed me. Finally shown his lower plate. Now, we're able to put one into it. Still, pretty good game for our team. Managed to hold the middle. Got rid of 4 tanks. Yeah, I've seen a lot of players playing the M44 because they're scared of the nerf. To be fair, I think the M44 was one of the tanks that really needed to be adjusted for a long time. M44 just is certainly not a very nice tank to face when you're playing a tier 5 or tier 6 tank. Low tier artillery has always been a lot worse than high tier artillery because the DPM just is much better than the high tier artillery. High tier artillery has such a long reload time. It's basically not worth playing them, or specific artillery pieces, I guess. Ooh, nope. Ah, I wasn't able to hide R2D2. Reload, gunner! Loader, I mean. There we go. Just barely survived that. Yeah, I know that the argument is that the LA will be there and they will not be touched, and I do agree with that. I do agree that the LA will always be a part of the super toxic kind of World of Tanks experience. Even if the M44 has been nerfed to the ground. But for me personally, what is really important is that the M44 is a tank a lot of players have because it's a free-to-play tank. But the LA, I'm gonna die here. Unless he shoots my traps now. Unfortunate, but still. Well, not everyone has the LAFH, whatever it's called again. That thing costs a lot when it comes around, and I know players really do spend a ton of money on the game, and a lot of players do spend ridiculous amount of money on specific very powerful tanks. And sadly, players will get the LA when the opportunity comes. And I mean, I own that tank as well. I own the LAFH, whatever it's called again. I have it in my garage, and I mean, I don't really play it often. There, nice. We got the KB5. And we got enough experience to get the field notifications for the KB5. Which is nice, so... have better traverse speed, and we're gonna go with better traverse speed. Like, if we go to tier 6, and we go to premium tanks... Wait, is it a tier 6 or a tier 5? I think it's a tier 5. Oh, right, there it is. I'm not a very good artillery player. Gonna be honest about that. I don't feel any shame about admitting that I don't really know, or that I'm not like one of the best artillery players. I know what to do with the artillery, but the thing is that if we go over to tier 6, tier 5, where the tank is located, I've played a grand total of 12 games in it, and I'm not going to be playing it that much more, I think, because I just think it's a tank that is a little bit toxic. I don't have a lot of games. Don't have a lot of games on the M44, I think. There might be a few, but shouldn't exceed 100. We did play the M44 quite a bit when it... Oh, that's the M41. It's at tier 6, right? 6, M44. 11 games. So I kind of missed the M44. I'm not really sure why, but I missed the M44. I played 11 games, and I never really played more than that. I played one game for a video, and I didn't really play a lot more games afterwards. But generally speaking, not a very big fan of artillery. Even the, like, especially the gameplay. We can play one arty game, but the question is, which artillery piece do I want to play, because I don't have a lot of them. You spend a lot of credits to play this class, because if you do not spend the credits, you're going to be less efficient. If you, like, don't have all of these different consumables on it, you're going to be pretty useless. Every single artillery shell costs you a lot of credits. Even though right now, like, 1,980 isn't even that bad. But I think just the general cost of running this is extremely expensive. Then buying this, you still have to buy it for 6 million credits, which is almost a total waste of credits to buy artillery piece. You have RNG that competes with you. Yeah, and teams that do not have, like, the best sense of, like, best game sense. I don't think that is a case. But we can play a match with the Object 261, because why not play it if I already own the tank? But, like, you can see, I'm a really bad artillery player, which probably is the truth, or I have a lot of bad teams, which probably also is kind of the truth. But because I'm not a very good artillery player, I cannot really help out my my team the best way. But at the same time, because there's so much RNG and the maps are kind of small, and at tier 10 especially, there are, like, certain light tanks that are really, really annoying. EVR, I'm looking right at you. There's just so many factors that come together that can really ruin your match. To have a great game in artillery is extremely difficult. And I think that's why it's such a frustrating class for me, because I don't have the feeling I have an impact on the game. When I notice that I don't have an impact on the game, I feel like it's not really worth playing the game. Not sure if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're right. Artillery is the most dependent class. Or it's the most team-dependent class, because if you have a team that kind of plays like a very different game that you're playing, and they're just all over the place, you're gonna have a really hard time as artillery. Especially at tier 10, where you have, like, plus 25 seconds reload time, where, like, I'm not even sure the T92 HMC has... Well, what does it have? Like 38 seconds reload time? In 38 seconds, a lot of things can happen. And if you then miss and you don't even do splash damage, well, that's probably one of the worst things that can happen to you. And I guess that's just how artillery does kind of suffer. And I think it's so weird that a lot of players actually play artillery and they are willing to suffer with all of these different factors. Man, I can't even drive. Because it's so weird, because they can't even like have an impact on a lot of the different factors that are coming together right there. But either way, I don't play artillery nearly enough to be able to give any kind of real perspective on those things. I just think that artillery for me is it's not really the most fun class. That boils down to basically just that. Okay, so we have an I-7. I've moved in a position where I probably should have checked first if I can hit these guys. Let's... Ooh. Should I do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I think it was a direct hit. I think we hit the E5. I think, you know, artillery would be a lot better if artillery had certain abilities that would, like, improve the gameplay experience for artillery players and other players by maybe, like, deploying smoke and stuff like that. If artillery could, like, assist you by... Oh, we just got 1,000 assistance damage right there. Because the Jagdpanzer E100 just basically demolished the E5. But if you have, like, certain supportive elements, or you could maybe, like, shoot a flare and spot certain tanks to give your team a little bit of an advantage, or maybe, you know, have covering fire, where you kind of load faster, and you can, like, do not a lot of damage, or not do a lot of damage, but kind of hold down the enemy for a little bit, I'm not sure. You know, there are a lot of elements that they could add into and make artillery more interesting and more of a supportive role than it is currently. Basically, what I see artillery right now is a class where players are trying to basically penetrate the vehicles through the rear, like I did with that Leopard 1. And they only shoot lightly armored targets because the incentive is to do the maximum amount of damage. And if I can hit a Leo for that, I mean, why the hell wouldn't I focus a light tank instead of splashing some heavy tanks, or basically do no damage? Looks pretty bad down south. We only have a guerrilla there. Looks like they need some help as well. Yeah, just as you mentioned, it's pretty closed off. Artillery doesn't really have a lot of the niceties that other classes have. I think light tanks are probably the difficult or the hardest vehicles to play, or the hardest class to play effectively, because light tanks, they just, well, they die very quickly. They usually do not have the kind of armor they need to really be effective. And oh, we actually hit him and we tracked him. That must be really annoying. I think this RHM is coming over to have some revenge on us. Probably. If he does survive this, I'm not really sure. Oh, he's going for cover because he knows he's going to get assaulted by the Object 277, who isn't that dumb. Pretty smart guy, but he doesn't count on artillery. Still wanting to just shoot his ass because we can basically do that. Oh yeah, if I can kill another artillery player, I will kill another artillery player. Ah, it was a close one, but just a few seconds off. I'm not the best light tank driver, but I do kind of think that I know what I'm doing when I play light tanks. At least I think that. I'm sorry, Object 277, I just stole your kill. But light tank games are extremely dependent on the map. They're extremely dependent on what kind of light tank you're playing, and they can be like, games can be really brutal where you're spotting the entire enemy team, but your team cannot get into the same position and shoot at them because you're very far at the front, and thus it becomes very difficult to garner a lot of assistance damage, except for artillery and the 1 or 2 tanks that are at the back and can actually fire at the targets. So, we can check the stats. Like, this is a pretty good game for an Object 261. We got 2,000 assistance damage. Or 2,000, like, I don't even know, stunning damage. And 2,141 damage by hitting the target. But you can see 13,000 I made plus with premium, 20,000 for ammo resupply, or 15,840 for ammo. I only fired the cheapest artillery round, 20,000 for consumables that I had to pay for, and like XP wise, we are basically in the we're in the top 10, but yeah, not a lot left there. I mean, we did more than the GW Type E, but still we ended up in a lower position than him, and I'm not even sure why. But yeah, I think that's the last time I play artillery for a very long time. I'm just gonna hop on some more enjoyable tank classes. I actually want to try out the arcade cabinet. I'm just gonna be playing some tier 10 vehicles for that. I don't want to play tank destroyers though. But I want to see what it's like to roll really high or really low, because we have now different, what is it? So we have glass uranium core. Damage spread is minus or plus 75%. Autoloader has been decreased. Okay, real time has been decreased by 25%. And engine power has been increased by 50%. So you're going to be quite fast. You're going to reload faster, and you are going to have random numbers whenever you shoot someone, even more random than we already are used to, which is kind of cool. And I'd say we just jump into a game with the 113 and see what we hit with this tank, because usually it's about 490, and probably it's gonna go somewhere like 200, maybe 700. Who knows? Well, I have a lot of fun when I win games, the majority of the time. When I win games, I have a lot of fun. When I lose games, I think the fun goes away a little bit. But in artillery, it's a lot worse. Because if you win too fast, you don't do any damage. If you lose, but the game is like really long, it kind of just frustrates you that you don't win, but you can do the maximum amount of damage. The worst thing is you lose, you have a long game, you do the minimum amount of damage, and you spend a lot of credits on your ammo, refilling everything, and it's just really frustrating. I guess that's World of Tanks for you sometimes. But yeah, look at that speed, 50 kph, top speed reached, and 6.16 real time. So we spot SCS 63, and I actually want to shoot that guy, because he's going to go into a position that is fairly competitive, but also very open for us to put some pressure on them. Now, if I don't drive forward like an idiot, because I just got hit for 641 by the Leo 1, which is pretty damn disgusting. It's a bit awkward to actually shoot the CS-63. So I got hit for 457 on the STB-1. So basically everyone rolled a lot higher than they should have, and I did 724 damage from the CS-63, so I rolled very high as well. But there's an object that is rolling around 300 damage, and there's a object 277 that is rolling around 700 damage. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Let's see. 202. Okay, yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we're looking for. 500. The reload time is pretty amazing, though. Not gonna lie, love to see this kind of reload. Yeah. Well, the object is going to die, unfortunately, or he did die. Okay, let's see. Guess it's time to load some gold for that specific target. It's no laser gun this time around, but it still should do the trick. I think that was a hit. Could have been a pen, does not have to be one. But I think we can put some pressure on this guy by moving up, because there's only him down here south. And nothing else, and he might run away. He does have the mobility, he does have the speed, so we'll have to be careful. Oh, right there he is. Oh boy. It was really awkward. This Chinese gun depression, well, that was a really badly aimed shot. Of course. Oh, no, come on! Ah, no. It's clear he's gonna crash into me and crush me, but I guess it was worth it. This time around, I'm not really feeling the modifications as much as I did like last week. I think last week they were really fun, because there's already a lot of RNG going around in this game, and like giving yourself even more RNG is just gonna hyper frustrate you. Especially when your team, or when you yourself have really high or really bad rolls, and the enemy team has some really good rolls. That's just something that I don't really enjoy. But it looks like a loss. I think it might be a win if they push the bridge, but I think the bridge is quite heavily contested. I'm still kind of waiting for oh my god, did he just do 23 damage with a AP shell? Or was that a high explosive shell? Because if that was an AP shell for 23 damage, that would be hilarious. Because he basically doesn't do any kind of damage. But either way, I think I've seen enough of the arcade cabinet for now. There was like it was going to be clear that there were going to be some days, some weeks where they're going to kind of miss the spot a little bit, and like at least for me, it wasn't as much fun as some other modes that they had last time around. So I'm going to be playing the T-44-100 because I want to do a review on this vehicle in the near future, and I really need to kind of know everything about this tank if I want to do a review, and I also need some credits. So I'm going to put on at least one booster. For making more credits, I'm going to go with additional free experience. I'm also going to increase the experience earned because I need to get all of the field modifications. And as you can see, I'm running some really weird equipment on this vehicle because I'm really poor at the moment. I have 3 million credits, and every single time I have to review a tank, I have to buy the vehicle. And every single time I'm trying to get equipment on these tanks, it also costs me like a hell of a lot of credits. So basically, whenever I'm playing world tanks, I'm either making reviews or I'm playing premium tanks to sustain my account. So thinking about it, it's basically like I'm a slave to this game because I only play like the really the premium tanks and nothing else really. So it's the perfect player that Wargaming wants to have. Perfect prototype who only plays like the the stuff that they're serving you on the platter for a lot of cash. But either way, somebody has to make the reviews. We're looking for 1,000 subscribers, and the last couple of weeks have been slow, but we're gonna get there eventually in maybe half a year, maybe in a year. But I'm just going to continue making some videos until I reach the 1,000 subscriber mark, and who knows what will happen then. Change of scenery. This will become a crypto channel. Oh, we actually penetrated the SU-101, which does not happen a lot of the times because he has a really, really strong lower plate and upper plate. And the Object 140 only has 190 millimeters of penetration, but a fairly nice rate of fire. And also, as you can see, aim time is really good, gun handling is great, shell velocity is okay, 880 meters per second. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is going to be an official crypto channel. I'm gonna start selling you NFTs, gonna start selling you tank NFTs. Gonna start making guides on how to use crypto, where you can find like the best marketplace, how you can transfer me crypto, all that kind of stuff. Just so that I can I can scam you guys. You've heard it here first. The World of Tanks crypto bro. No, don't worry. I'm not really interested in any of that, and I highly doubt anyone would be watching my crypto content. Really don't care about it either way. Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, World of Tanks, the Object 780 is a crypto as well. So you're right. Welcome to the live stream. Yes, you're right. The Object 780 was and is a NFT. And I did actually get one with a number, even though I didn't care for it. I just wanted to have the tank. But I thought, you know, if I'm gonna get the tank, which I did, how about I just get the camo, because I don't want to spend any more credits on additional camo. And I thought, it's actually a genius plan. But now I have the number, which is fine, you know. I don't really care too much about it. I haven't played my Object 780 in God knows since it ever came out. I haven't played the Object 268 version 5, and that thing I bought for a ton of credits and experience. No experience, it's free XP. And I've barely played it 5 times. So I actually should stop making videos, and I should start playing my goddamn tanks that I own. But every single time, trying to make some videos, I'm just gonna drive in front of this IS-3A. I'm gonna eat that one. Yes, still have full HP, so I get a lucky track on the IS-3A. We're gonna try to do some damage. Oh, it doesn't hit me. Does he have one more shell in his round? In his magazine? Nope, he's dead. Oh damn! All of the tank destroyers now light up because they've been sitting at the back all game long, and now there's going to be the ones that get absolutely obliterated because everyone can just penetrate them easily. They might be running, but they'll never get away. No, the Scorpion actually still shot me, asshole. I thought the Scorpion was like, you know what? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna take you with me. Nope. He dies. He doesn't take anyone with him. Nice. Decent game in the T-44-100. About 4,000. What is it? 4,200 combined? Maybe 4,300? Yeah, my team. Like, I have to be honest, whenever I play World of Tanks, and I haven't played it for a very long time, or I haven't played it, like, for, I don't know, um, very successfully, um, I usually get some really good teams. I don't know why, but this was a complete steamroll by my team. But if you do take a look at the vehicles that were present in this match, you'll see certain things that kind of shine a pretty grim light on why we won. So we had a Skoda T56 and a Skoda T56, two of them, going up against the IS-3A, which is a good tank. Tiger 2, which he was shooting down at the beach from up there. So maybe good tank, the okay tank, but the player was a bit focused on other things. They have a Super Pershing, which is known for not being the strongest vehicle anymore. The Kraslavsky, which I hate. Don't like it. They had a Skoda T56. They had a Urus, a EL-790, which is an awesome tank. But we had, like, all of the Soviet armor. We had the combined Soviet force with some Eastern Europeans in there. One French guy in his Burasque. And obviously the T-44-100 is just OP. 6th of January was your last game? Yeah, I can actually understand that. Are things going to be getting better in World of Tanks? That's the big question that we're all asking ourselves whenever we play this game. I think a lot of us are pretty much we're very optimistic. But I think it's not gonna get a lot better. The game has arrived at the place where it just kind of is going into the position or into a state where Wargaming don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. Are they supposed to be adding more content? Are they supposed to be balancing things out? How do you keep the players that are still around, and how do you get the old players back in that have left? It's going to be a bit of a difficult one. The Object 772 is actually a very fun tank. I like it a lot. It's pretty basic. It's what you expect of a Soviet heavy tank. It drives forward, it eats a lot of shells, and it does a very good... well, it returns fire very nicely, and it does a lot of damage. I think the 777 is just kind of underestimated because there are a lot of other, yeah, a lot of Soviet tanks that you can play. They're all kind of similar, so either way. But I think the K91 is maybe the better option to go for if you want to have a bit of a more interesting experience with a Soviet vehicle instead of just having the good old Soviet heavy tank that does a lot of work, all of the heavy lifting. But the K91 is pretty interesting. Okay, that shot just went somewhere. I don't remember how I used to play the T62. The T62 in my eyes, It always lacked the gun depression, so I always preferred the Object 140. But you can certainly be also very aggressive with the T62. It's a pretty neat tank, but instead of balancing it out, maybe giving it some more gun depression, Wargaming just decided to cut it out of the experience completely, which kind of sucks. Just like the fact that we just lost the 1, 2, 3, 4 line, and now we have a little bit of a problem here because we're all in the field. We actually have to win this flank real quick, that we can return to the base without losing too much of HP. Oh boy. Oh no, I might just have been spotted. Oh yeah. We're going to fall back. Kinda sucks now. Because we're going to be stuck in this position. And we're gonna have no support because everyone needs to go back to base. The T-44 actually locks its tracks when you're turning, or is that just so we don't have the speed? There's the M41. Oof. Well, I mean, the turret of the T-62A is pretty sturdy. It's, I think, above 230 millimeters thick, maybe even more. And what is the gold penetration on certain Soviet heavy tanks? Maybe a little bit more than 300 millimeters with the heat shells. If the tank is turning the turret, I think usually it will have quite good chance to bounce the incoming shell. Oh, come on, who's gonna reload faster? Ah, he's gonna reload faster by just a little bit. But I think it's pretty sad that Wargaming have taken out the tanks that have been a part of the World of Tanks experience for a very long time. Like, I think we have to go to the store so we can see all of the vehicles that Wargaming have taken out of the game, which are still in the collector's vehicles tab, but unfortunately for us, only the players who actually have gotten these vehicles back in the days are still able to actually play them. Wait, let me see. Where's my T-62A? Soviet tank. There it is. How much armor does it have? 240 on the turret. So it's pretty damn sturdy. It's a very good turret. Oh, does anyone still remember this guy? The old school World of Tanks YouTube moderator who was always around and had some really cool things to say. Ed Militia. Forgot his name for a sec, but yeah, pretty cool guy. It's a pretty long time ago that this guy's left. Wait, so can you actually still get the collector's vehicles if you didn't research them back in the days? Oh, okay. You can purchase a collector's vehicle of a certain tier once you research a vehicle of the same tier in the select destination's tech tree. Oh, never mind. In that case, you can actually get your hands on these tanks, which is pretty neat. I didn't know that. I always had the idea that you'd have to have had unlocked these tanks. At least that's what I think what they initially told us back in the days, but I might just be wrong. Here you have the Sexton, the Churchill's gun carrier, which a lot of players kind of 3-mark, and I don't realize why. Thank you. My T62A hasn't been driven for a very long time. If you look at the... Oh, actually the equipment has been stripped because I haven't played that vehicle in such a long time. If I put my crew back on it, the crew was actually a massive mess. And I kind of took everything out of the vehicle. I don't even know what I should be playing when I play the T62, but I'm gonna put on a turbocharger because I have one lying around right now. 55 kph, specific power to weight ratio was never really good on the T62A, fortunately. I'm not even sure what this tank needs. It has pretty damn good firepower, no gun depression, which was the biggest issue. It has decent dispersion values, I think. So I think improved ventilations would help out more. Improve rotation mechanism. Can always go with a rammer, but we also already have a rammer. Not sure, like spotting wise, maybe go with coated optics. I think I'm just gonna put on improved vents because I have it lying out. Exhaust. Yeah, that could also always work. You get additional 6% on camo concealment. But I think, like, without the field modifications right now, I'm just gonna be running vents. I'm gonna play this tank. I haven't played it in a long time, so let's see if I still can play the T62A. Yeah, the KV-13 is actually a pretty damn nice tank. Used to be a lot of fun when I first got my hands on that tank. I had a lot of fun with it. Running around, just having that DPM. I think it had pretty good DPM, but it's been a long time ago. I'm not really sure if this is the best map for the T62A, but we're just gonna try and see if we can get anything in the middle. What is easy to mark, the T62A or the KV-13? Because I'm not really sure if I want to remark any more tanks right now, because I don't have the time. Free marking just... I mean, free marking, you'll get it eventually, it just takes time. And sometimes you 3-mark faster, sometimes takes a lot longer. Sometimes you have to take a break. And then you kind of lose your progress on 3-marking anything. Sadly, that's the reality. Okay, so we get the T-54. Artillery is already on us, so... But we do get the assistance on the object for 30U. I'm too cheap to use my medkit right now, even though it's like 15 seconds 15 seconds stun. Oh boy, yeah, of course, the second artillery strikes me. You know what, I'm gonna see if the other artillery is gonna shoot me as well now that I've disappeared off the radar, but we know that one artillery is over here, and one artillery is somewhere over there. So, yeah, we have 2 artillery pieces on, like, a pretty close place. I really want to shoot that Waffenträger, but at the same time, I don't want to expose myself too much. I really want to see what is in the middle, because that object on 430 is still somewhere over here. We have the object on 40 that we just spotted for a second with a tortoise right there. Let's see if we can get some eyes on the object 140. It's always nice to get like these really close hits into your target and have like 5 seconds to be loaded again. That was always such a novel feature whenever I played the T62. Such a nice rate of fire, such decent damage that it was able to do back in the days. And nowadays you just have tanks that have very good rate of fire and more alpha. Just kind of sad to think about. So this tortoise is playing very aggressively, and I think he's paying for it. Let's see if the object for 140 comes up again. At least we give him one parting present. Oh, actually, we set him on fire. I didn't know that. Until I saw that I had like 4 critical hits on the object 140. Oh, that's not very nice. Nice hit by the Super Conqueror. Certainly firing APCR. 100% sure he's firing APCR shell right there. Ah, right there. There we go. 140 taken out of the game. And now we can just see if we can actually take out the M60 or help out with the VZ55. The S-Conqueror is moving, so he must have gotten a pretty bad beating by artillery for himself to be running away in this position. This is a very important position to take. Okay. At least he's gonna help us out from back there, but he is pretty much a one-shot. Okay, there's the VZ. Oh, there's the Kunz over there. Do these bushes work now? Super Conqueror really wants to. He really wants to kill this M60 because this M60 must have perma spotted him for the artillery that was sitting on the A line, and now we have the issue of being only one tank in the middle right here. But I don't have the feeling that they are going to be able to push or use the E6 spot very effectively as long as I stay right here. Did artillery just kill the Waffen? Nice shot. Nice shot. I'm not going to be moving closer to the M60 because I really don't want to get lit up. Because I think artillery is going to start shooting us if we stay in the middle. Because we are quite exposed. But we might... Oh, we actually have a target. It is the E5. So let me kind of vanish. Oh, yeah, very, very good vanishing right there, as you can see. I vanished by driving backwards by reversing, and while I was reversing, I exposed myself to the object for 30U, who is still sitting at that spot, so that the E5 actually saw me, or was able to shoot me if he had the time, but yeah, he's playing a very different game. So I'm just gonna get exposed here. If I manage to actually find a space where I can hit the E5, I'm just gonna expose myself. I don't really care too much. Just got shot. So the M60 is looking directly at us. We've seen that the T-54 lightweight has made a move. Now we actually have to make a little bit of a move because the mouse is now pushing the M60. Oh, there's another T-54 lightweight. Wait, so what? What did I see? Take care of the E5. And now we have 54 lightweight, who's going to sit in a very awkward position. But we're not going to shoot him because there's object 430U coming in. A guy who we have spotted prior. Yeah, let me. Still decent assistance damage right there on the 54 lightweight. I don't usually carry CVS on my medium tanks because I want to go for the raw damage that I can do. So I usually go for rammer. Sometimes I go for vents. But I do see the appeal on running CVS on certain vehicles. Some medium tanks are really, really good kind of hybrid light tanks. And I think, especially since you do have that specialization slot that you can utilize, you might as well just... Oh, we just got very lucky right there with that bounce. Get one into the M60, put our front towards him, and hope that somebody kills it. Or we do it ourselves. Actually just track it. No. I think I'm going to make... Oh, right there. There's a target that we need to kill. That is very important. Oh, sorry, sorry, Yak Tiger. I didn't know you were right there. That was muscle memory right that second. But I got that pesky little thing off your back. So, should be fine. There's another pesky little thing over there. Hit him once. Might be a track shot. No, it isn't. Yeah, the T-62, it's a... I mean, it's a classic. You can't go wrong with this tank. It might just no longer be as novel as it once was. As the, as other tanks are maybe more novel. But this is still a pretty damn good vehicle. A tank that just works. A tank that works hard. A tank that is a lot of fun. And if you play your hands right, you're going to be quite effective. Because of that sheer damage potential you have, all of the rate of fire on this vehicle. Designated target. Wait, what is designated target again? Was that like to keep someone spotted for 2 additional seconds? So you actually have longer times to shoot someone and report the position to your team? Because right now I have to look into it. Don't remember it out of my head. Designated target. Yeah, exactly. 2 additional seconds to spotting a target. Yeah, it comes in quite handy, especially when you're a light tank. But to be fair, my cruise they're always at like 4 or 5 skills, and I usually never go for designated target because I deem a lot of the other things more important for my tanks, which is sometimes repairs as well. So I never really went for designated target because I don't think that the 2 seconds will have a big impact, but I might be wrong. So, you know, I might think that the 2 seconds don't have an impact. But it turns out those 2 seconds have a really big impact on like the additional damage you can actually get. So we're gonna be playing the NFT tank, the 780, just one game, because I want to raise the percentage of the win rate on this vehicle, because I've had some pretty bad games when I was playing it. This is my number 2439, and it's a pretty neat looking tank. It's one of those vehicles that I actually pretty much went all out in, where I pushed as much stuff as I could into it, so it's a very expensive tank to run. I really want to play the middle, but I know that artillery is just going to feast upon me, so I shouldn't play the middle, but I really want to play the middle. So I'm just going to play the middle, and if I lose and I get absolutely whack-a-moled by 3 artillery pieces, so be it, because I just want to sit right there in the middle and shoot at whatever is right there. I mean, what does this tank have? Like 7 degrees of gun depression for a Soviet tank at tier 10? That's unheard of. For a Soviet tank, that is unheard of. Basically, exclamation mark. So I'm just going to be playing the middle. This is the loadout that I've found the most helpful, because the rate of fire. I went with rammer, I went with more mobility, and I think I went with vertical stabilizer or something else. Nice turret. Not so nice body. Where is... Oh, he's right there. Of course we bounced like that. They're not really contesting... Oh, never mind. So it begins. What kind of a special radio are we talking about? Special radio sounds really nice. It sounds really neat. Like, kind of report the position, and you know, all of a sudden, like, all hell breaks loose. The guy gets like a special call and a special special delivery. It sucks. Oh yeah, and if you want to really be effective in this tank, like, I mean, it's not a very good tank in comparison to other tier 10s in certain areas. But if you really want to be like the super annoying douche, just fire all APCR. Like, these are the ones I love the most. The players who are only firing premium shells all game long. Oh, we have a T95 with a 128mm gun. Should have seen that with the... Ah, that was a miss. This was probably a great success for wargaming. This tank. They're certainly going to be doing more of those things where they're going to be selling us tanks and ideas instead of just giving us like an ability to unlock them in the game. Okay, so one down. A phase still in the middle. Object 260 in the middle. We've lost all of the tanks on top of the hill, which is quite astonishing because nobody challenged for the hill. So these guys must have just seriously kind of gotten wiped out trying to shoot tanks that were down below them. which kind of sucks, because now we don't have anyone to exert some kind of pressure on these guys. So I might make a move, and I might make a dash for the hill, which should be doable. And I do get hit twice, but we also do like the mission, which is quite nice. So we did the mission. Nice. There we go. And now it's all about kind of cleaning up, pulling the sling around the head of these guys. Is the object 260 still in that position? He might have dropped. Yeah, he dropped. Okay, he dropped all right. I'm not sure if I want to play that spot right there with 3 artillery pieces. I'm not sure if I really want to do that, but I want to take a little bit of revenge for the one hit I've had to take, one shot I had to endure. $38 damage. It's been pretty nice. How do we pen the T95? How do you pen a T95? I don't like that. Should see. Oh, you shouldn't see me anymore. I think the lower plate is the best bet. Oh, look at that. 524 damage. That's a beauty. Oh, there is another artillery piece. And I think this time around we're just gonna play the position so that we can actually do something about this 60 TP. Is it missing, unfortunately? Oh, look at that. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. We have a very nice shot on the Waffenträger Panzer IV. Could have switched over to a high explosive shell, but it doesn't matter because RNG likes us today and it gives us a very nice engine shot. So I missed and I screwed up, but I still got the kill. 6 kills. There's still object 260 over there. That's a decent game. Damage wise, it's not that impressive. 3,396 is not that many. Or not that much damage, but having also just a little bit of damage there, it's quite nice. Decent game. At least I would say. Decent game in a 780. Wargaming being very kind to me tonight. Okay, so we've done that mission. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Now it's at 52%. Took forever to go to 52%, but we've managed to do that just now. I'm either thinking about playing, like I've been getting the T30 back, and I want to play the T30 again, but it takes so much time and effort to actually like equip everything on the tanks again. But I do have like all kinds of cool stuff lying around in my garage. Just don't have like the crew for it, don't have the equipment for it for a lot of these vehicles. This is no cool tank, this is no cool vehicle, but I still have to get the Top Gun before I can actually buy the Type 5. But I just cannot get myself to play the Type 4 Heavy, which is a bit sad considering that it used to be like a tank that was quite fun until it became not quite fun, and now it's just a piece of shit in the game. So I'm just gonna be playing my T-44-100 again, because I actually need to have the experience to find... No, I actually have the field modification, so I can actually train a crew. Well, I have to have the right kind of loadout, else it just doesn't make any sense to to, you know, make a review with the wrong loadout would not really help out anyone. So I'm thinking about, like, adding CVS in this spotting category would give me, like, more ability to get things or to see things behind foliage, but at the same time I only have 400 meters base view range, or 400 meters view range, which is not a lot considering that it has 380 meters base view range, so I only improved it by about 20 meters. But if we do use coated optics, we go to 454, which would be quite nice. But it costs me 600,000 credits. So I'm thinking about just, you know, taking it off some tier 8 tank, putting it on. Do I still play the Lynx? I don't think so. There we go. I don't have any of those demounting kits anymore, so I'll have to use gold soon, or I'll stop doing that and just have to buy, like, premium, but no, I'll have to buy consumables and equipment. That would be really bad. Not very good for me. Super heavies. Well, I'm not really sure if you want to see more super heavies in the game, because if everyone is just spamming gold shells, everyone is just spamming those super high penning rounds, and you don't have the armor and you're very slow, I don't think it's going to be very enjoyable. The mouse has the advantage that it has a lot of armor that is also quite nicely angled, and, you know, it's quite difficult to go through with gold shells. Now, I'm not really sure what all of these super heavy tanks were, but I remember that the French had this FCM 50T, something like that, which was like a behemoth with like a really weird ARL turret at the back and a turret at the front, and it just looked like really, really odd. But at the same time, I remember that that vehicle looked really cool, and they actually added it in during one of the events. It was like one of those Frankenstein tanks, but I'm not really sure if that's going to be a lot of fun. That's also where they tested out multi-turreted, like, vehicles, and they figured out that it was not really meant to be, at least for the PC version. But what I would really think is, like, very interesting if you would be playing World of Tanks, what are the other versions like? The console version is a completely different experience from the PC version, and World of Tanks Blitz has, like, a complete different vibe than World of Tanks on PC and console. That would be really interesting to dive into, because Wargaming have started a massive brand that just has a lot of different areas, different versions of one product. But I have to be honest, I've tried out Blitz. I've been introduced to just the loot boxes. Like, I was on the main page of World of Tanks Blitz, and I was swarmed by these loot boxes. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. And it was just not, like, it was so odd. It was like a mobile game, because it is a mobile game, right? And they have, like, all of these crazy boxes, and it just didn't really catch any of my attention. So what I also noticed is that I just ran into some really, really bad stuff here. There's a Action 10 Centurion who's going to wipe us if we're not careful, and there's a Bisonte C45 where we were just a little bit too cocky. Oh, look at that, there's a E100 who's not looking at us. Sorry, I have to get out of here. I'm a tier 8. I'm a tier 8. I don't belong here. Hello. That's kind of funny. I need to get into some cover. because I don't want to get obliterated in the first 10 minutes. First 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna go here, and hopefully I can still assist these guys when they're getting attacked by these vehicles up there. So the E100, I think the E100 is making a push. Bizonta just made a push, so he's in a good position. At least we take out one of the tanks. I think we have to run. There's an E100 going to close in our position. There's a lot of other stuff coming in. Just a second. We might just help out our team here with that standard B. And if we get really lucky, it's a tracking shot. But it doesn't really do the thing that we want it to do. Oh no, I have a T-49 right behind me. Yeah, it was kind of clear. Shouldn't have stopped there to shoot the standard B. Got really, really greedy because I wanted to do a little bit of damage. But I kind of made a mess of it. In the end, they really pushed hard on the 1-2 line, and we were just not able to cope with that. And yeah, that's GG for the enemy team. Well, I mean, most of the times these loot boxes are not very... Well, they're not very consumer friendly. A lot of these loot boxes are just very aggressive. They cater towards the vulnerable player base. Most of the time it's kids. It might be people that have had like history with gambling addiction. And I don't really think that catering towards these groups is a very nice thing to do. And there need to be some regulations. On the other hand, I have to be honest, I have always bought the Christmas loot boxes that are coming at the end of the year. And I can already tell you that we're gonna see Christmas loot boxes at the end of the year at the end of the year 2022. We're gonna be seeing Christmas loot boxes, and I'm calling it right now. We're going to be seeing the first premium tier 9 tanks in those loot boxes. And that's going to make people pretty damn crazy about these loot boxes. So Wargaming make a lot of money with these boxes. We might not like them, but they will come back. And at the same time on Blitz, while they're integral part of World of Tanks, I guess. Well, like of Blitz, of the economy and everything around it. I think Blitz had like some really interesting ideas. I always get like the comments by players who've switched over to Blitz and who have played like both versions. And the players that have switched over to Blitz and have played both versions, they always tell me that Blitz had like a pretty interesting idea on how to like balance out the premium shells, and they reduced the damage output, but they remained with, or they kept the high pen, but they reduced the damage output, and they reduced the price of the shells, I think. I might be misquoting, but I know that the player base was actually quite keen on some of these changes, and the spam did stop, I think. Or it became like less annoying because of the reduced damage output that the premium shells are. Now, we know that Blitz is different. We know that the console version is different. We have modern tanks in the console version, which we're not going to be seeing probably in the next 1 or 2 years for World of Tanks, because Wargaming is probably kind of scared about going any further. But I think it's going to be inevitable if they want to add more content. They'll have to find more tier 11, or like bring out like tier 11 and 12, because other than that you're going to be quite limited by the content you can add in a tank game. But it never has stopped Wargaming to create new premium vehicles or new vehicles overall. Yeah, I mean, late Cold War tanks or mid Cold War tanks, they look really nice. I mean, the M60 pattern, we already have the M60 pattern in the game, but you know, they really do look very nice. and they are certainly quite unique in their designs. At least some of them, I think. Did I just track him and it didn't do anything on the Panther 88? Because he just kind of rolled right through. Also exchanging fire with this PvP 100. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name of the tank, because it's impossible to pronounce it correctly. Let me track this Panther 88. He doesn't have a repair tool, repair kit on him, because I knocked him out once, so doesn't have the time. We do have a very dangerous opponent right here, where I don't feel like bad about spamming gold at this guy, because it's a pretty broken ass tank. So I'll have to actually spam the gold. Oh, somebody just exploded. Oh no, it's a very good tank that exploded. It's a very good tank that we need, which is very bad for us, because we're just about to get annihilated by this guy. Or the AE phase 1, because we are going to be toast in a moment. I'm gonna switch over to the non-premium ammo, because I think I can deal with these guys without any premium ammo. This gun on this tank is really, really great. I love this gun. I love this tank. But the tank doesn't love me. The tank certainly doesn't love me. And it's something I have gotten used to. I know. I just know that the tank just doesn't love me. I've gotten used to it. No, that was actually a bounce. Wheeled medium tanks wouldn't be the worst idea. Have you actually been around when they introduced the EBR? I think wheeled medium tanks would be a pretty bad idea in the current way that Wargaming sees wheeled tanks. Wheeled vehicles could be really, really great. They could be amazing in this game. But wheeled vehicles in World Tanks kind of suck, because they're completely overpowered in a way that they are protected by their incredibly stupid wheels. The issue is just that they don't have a lot of HP. If you don't give them the extra protection with their wheels, you're just not going to be able to survive for a very long time, because certain shots will find their way to the target. But it's such a bad solution to just make the wheels so impossibly strong that you get bounces with an object, I don't even know, object 780 or a Jagdpanzer U100, and it just sucks, because I think generally speaking wheeled tanks could be a great addition to the game. They just have to be implemented right, and Wargaming can't implement good things anymore, or they have really weird ideas on how to implement something successfully. And unfortunately for us, well, whenever they release something new, the general idea that that new thing is going to be good is, I think a lot of players are kind of scared of additional content that is coming to World of Tanks. Oh, there we go. I think we're gonna lose this match. They do have a 790. Yeah, wheel tanks, you know, wheel tanks would bring a lot of content to the game. Yes, I totally agree with you. Wheel tanks would be really, really cool if they were implemented in the right way. But do you have faith in Wargaming to implement wheel tanks in the right way? Because I do not. I have seen a lot of things going wrong in World Tanks, and a lot of them have to do, or a lot of them started because of in proper balance. And these wheel tanks are in a position where they, like, the way that Wargaming envisions wheel tanks is just not the way I would have seen wheel tanks, because the game is already quite fast. If you have medium tanks that are running around with 50 kph, when your light tank does 60 or 70, it's not going to cut it anymore, because a medium tank is already at 55, 60 kph. So a light tank needs to go beyond the 50 and 60 kph. It needs to be at 80 kph. It needs to be at 90. And the issue is just they're going to be going around so fast. The maps are so small that everything is just going to feel so condensed that they spot everything. They run around in circles. And then these clown cars, they get shot at, and they also bounce the shells on their tracks, or wheels, sorry about that. And people just get so frustrated. I think, generally speaking, to be a very good wheels tank driver takes a lot of effort and a lot of skill. And it's not easy, especially if, one of the front or rear wheels gets absolutely annihilated. You're a sitting duck. But until it gets to that point, you always have a repair kit. You always have a pretty good crew on the tank most of the time. At least I'd expect a lot of players who have decent crews on their vehicles. And, these things that just make it so, well, disliked. They make it a very disliked class. I think Wargaming did plan on bringing out British light tanks, or British wheeled tanks, and I have to be honest, I was super stoked for the light tanks. I was really excited for the French wheeled tanks, because I know... Oh no, that was a really bad shot. I'm gonna repair the track. I'm gonna try it again. Okay, he missed. I'm gonna try it again. I hope he is repairing something. Nope. There we go. I would have really liked to see more light tanks, but in a way that is actually good for the game. And if they cannot do that, and if everything they add just makes the game worse, why even add them? And I think there's going to be so much backlash, or there already has been so much backlash from the French wheel tanks, that Wargaming have probably buried any plans on other wheeled light tanks for the foreseeable future, until they figured out what they can do to make these actually balance. If they do not balance out the French light tanks, they have to do something with the British ones, because I think I can see some players running away. The French light tanks were the breaking point for some players, and I think that's just why we will not see any more wheeled light tanks for quite a bit of time. I think Wargaming say that they have balanced out the French light tanks. I think they're happy with their current state. Because they always reflect on data, on statistics and characteristics and everything. And speaking of the statistics, I think they're happy with the current way that the French light tanks are handled. They did nerf the EBR 105, they did nerf the EBR 90. The reverse speed has been decreased from 80 kph, I think, to 75 or 70. Still pretty fast, but it's no longer as fast as, certain other vehicles, or when it was, going forward. Is it going to be enough? I think there are just too many things that were destroyed by probably bad communication, by Wargaming not addressing some of the core issues for a very long time. And I think players have lost their faith in, yeah, anything getting better in the near future. I've seen a lot of, I've been doing my World of Tanks YouTube channel for 10 years now, over 10 years, and I get a lot of messages on some older videos where, like, old players that have played this game for a very long time are pretty disgruntled and tell me that they hate this game. And I do understand their frustration, but they always have had, like, this hope that the game would actually become better eventually, and they always come back to it. They try it out, they haven't been able to, see what is going on, and they want to see what the changes have made the game to be. They come into this game and they are feeling lost, I think. They play a couple of rounds and it just feels like World of Tanks, but it feels like World of Tanks in a bad way. And then they leave and they don't come back for a very long time. And I do understand that. I understand that they dislike the game afterwards and they're like, you know what, I finished this game, I'm done with it. But they had so much fun and it was so unique that they're still coming back to see if it has changed, because the hope that the game is still in a good, decent shape, or that it has improved, is still there, because of the nostalgia and everything, and they get really disappointed. So I get like a lot of comments where players are really, really spiteful and they really dislike the game. And I can't even blame them for anything, because look at this matchup. We have 4 Skoda T56 tanks on our team, 4 on the enemy team, 2 SU-130 PMs. We have a Burask on our team, they have a Progetto 46, a Somua, we have a Renegade, a IS-3. Basically, as every single tank that we have in our team, except for 2, the M40, M43, and the IS-3, are all premium tanks. And I mean, are they selling the Skoda T56 again? Is that thing on sale right now? Or why do I see so many of them? Yeah, I don't want to rant. I don't want to always rant about World of Tanks, because I think I've had a lot of rants over the years. I've talked a lot of things about the game, the state of the game, and I care deeply about the game itself. Was I spotted? Oh, it was probably just a good guess, because players usually do get into these positions. I have a deep love for World of Tanks. I mean, you don't play a game for 10 years, or this is now 11 years. It's gonna be 12 years soon. You don't play a game for that long and still have, like still have fun, without a couple of really, I don't even know, really bad times. I've kind of adapted myself a little bit to the game. I no longer really care too much about losing or having any kind of real goal. If there is something that comes out and it's a cool kind of thing, I will grind for it, but I will not pay for it. So I kind of stopped buying new premium tanks 2 years ago, and I'm not planning on buying more premium tanks in the near future. Start buying premium tanks again, unless some things fundamentally change in this game. And I don't think that's gonna happen, so I'm just gonna keep my wallet shut. Gonna see what Wargaming is gonna do. I'm just one guy, I'm just one paying customer. There are gonna be a lot of other paying customers that will still pay. So I highly doubt that Wargaming is going to go bankrupt because of my actions, but I would like to see a little bit of reflection from Wargaming themselves, because they themselves, they have had quite an impact on, well, the clear direction of the game. And I think just the last couple of years, the last 6 years, have been quite different from what I would have expected it to go. Because I know in 2016 and 2017, the game was in a decent state, it was in a fine state, and now Wargaming was going to be introducing HD textures, they're going to make the game look way more prettier, and everything is going to feel like new. But they also took that time to change some things around. That was when some new tanks were added. That's where the armor all of a sudden became, you know, relevant for certain vehicles, which is certainly a good thing, because armor was kind of a joke prior in the game. But at the same time, I think they had this idea already in their head to, how about we drain the player's wallet by just, oh wow, I'll bounce that shot. I'm gonna get absolutely pounced on by T69 and Progetto at the same time. Yeah, I can't really fall back because these guys just jumped me. It's gonna be a win though, so I'm gonna be happy with that. Very weird play by the enemy team in the end. All I can say about World of Tanks and Wargaming at like this moment in time is that they have themselves maneuvered in a position where they cannot get out again, and it's very difficult to move out of the way because they've put up the roadblocks themselves. I'm not even sure if they are interested in fixing certain aspects, or if they're just trying to create a little bit of hope so that the players actually buy premium tanks again, so that they just can say that, you know, we're trying to make the game better, but at the same time they're spamming us to death with the premium tanks. So basically just saying one thing, doing the other thing completely, because I wouldn't put it past Wargaming. So yeah, that's just my cup of tea. I would really like to see a little bit more honesty in the World of Tanks community. To be fair, I'm not really too invested in the World of Tanks community. I have my little channel, I make my little videos. There are a couple of people who watch them, some find them quite nice, some dislike them. It's all fine. I don't need to get like riled up in any kind of fan camps. I don't really care about that too much. But I know that there are World of Tanks content creators or YouTubers and Twitch streamers that are really in there. They're really a part of the game itself, and I just have the feeling that not a lot of honesty is going around on certain topics. Because obviously for these YouTubers and Twitch streamers, not just Quickie Baby or the other one's Skill, like for them it's pretty much their livelihood. For them, World of Tanks is a very important part of their income, so they're probably going to be a lot more guarded with their with the things they say. But I would have really liked to see a bit more criticism of Wargaming and the way that they're handling certain things. But maybe I'm just hypercritical. I'm always critical of things. I'm always talking about things that maybe I shouldn't be talking about. I remember the KV-1 with the double barrel 57s. Yeah, I remember them. I remember that tank. Was it actually an event vehicle, or was that just like a drawing or a prototype? Go, I'm getting tired. Oh, sorry. I recall having seen KV-1 with double barrels in World of Tanks. Like, I recall having seen the model. I'm not sure if it is like a model that they model that they really put out as a tank that you could play. But I remember that there was something about it. But we just got hit by the Challenger right there. That one did really a lot of damage. Yeah, it's fine. This tank still brawls pretty good, so I'm gonna give that to BM. This tank brawls quite nicely. My commander is dead. I had to give my commander the kit, or else he would just, well, we'd have that gunner. It's a pretty good shot by the Challenger because he knocked out both the commander and the gunner with one hit. So yeah, some pretty nice shooting there. Right there. Oh, that's also some pretty nice shooting. Oh no, that's some pretty bad things that are happening. There's one E25 who hasn't gone over the ridgeline to fight the guys coming in from the south. He's sitting somewhere over there, still on the ridgeline, shooting down towards us in a very dangerous position. With that rate of fire, he can do a lot of damage to us. Let's see if we can put some pressure on a Challenger. He's probably still there. He's just lurking behind the rock and is waiting for a perfect moment to strike. At least that's what I'm expecting. We could also just make a move because the enemy team is completely getting evaporated by our guys, and I'm once again not doing a lot. Track him again. He must be pretty pissed by this point. There we go. Knock him out of the game. There's still a LT432 over here. We have an E25 coming down the hill. Oh, he's on 1 HP. Okay. He can't be more than 1% for sure. Oh no. Driving. That's probably the worst. That's probably the worst skill I have. That is driving. I drive like a blind man. It's pretty bad. Oh, super ram. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted to ram into the super at the LT432. Ah. Yeah, no worries. I hope you did enjoy the stream a little bit. Just a little bit of fun. Just wanted to see if I can play a little bit of World Tanks that late in the night, and if anyone is still interested in popping by and seeing some World Tanks action. But yeah, hasn't been too bad. We played 12 games, 8 wins. I don't know if the WTR rating is important or if anyone cares about that, but it's at 10,000 something. Which is nice, I guess. But I think it's time for me to go to bed, and it's time to wrap up this live stream. I might just be doing some random live streams every once in a while when I have the time. It's probably mostly in the evening, because when I get off work, I might have like 1 or 2 hours to still play a bit of World Tanks. I have to do the daily missions because I want to get the final chapter of the battle pass. But until I get there, I still need to like do or get 42 points, which does happen quite quickly if you do the daily missions. But I can't do all of the daily missions, unfortunately. But that's fine. I guess we can work with that. We can work with a lot of things, and probably going to be taking a look at the review for the 1-to-1. I just have to buy it back, and I hate having to pay 6 million credits for the 1-to-1, but it's such a nice tank, or a tank that I at least enjoyed a couple of times. I have to still do quite a few things with the 1-to-1 to get like all of the things. So I'm gonna get that tank, then I'm gonna probably make a review on 1-to-1 and have the Chinese line finished off, which is going to be nice. Amex Dirty Pluton. Wait, is that wait, I'm a bit confused. Let me Google that real fast. That's the last thing I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Then I really have to sleep. What the hell is that? What? This is a short range ballistic missile. What? It could be used with a nuclear warhead as tier A premium. Well, it could be a fun little addition. Wipe out the entire map. Just spare us the game or the playtime. Just kind of finish it immediately with a little nuke coming your way. The vehicle itself looks pretty cool. I recall that the French really loved their AMX 30s. They produced a whole bunch of the AMX 30s. They produced so many different variants, and they exported quite a few all over the world. And they're actually quite... well, they're still an active service in some nations, so that's quite interesting. And the AMX 30 has like these really weird 20mm cannons, like coaxial 20mm cannons that they just have in their turret, which just kind of is weird because it just doesn't make a lot of sense, or it takes up so much space. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I'm gonna cut that live stream right now. I'm gonna go to bed. Pretty fucking tired. So have a good night, and hopefully you have some good world tanks during this weekend. But yeah, probably not for me. So I'll see you guys around. Have a good one. Enjoy the evening or daytime wherever you are on this planet.